We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you your goals and actually reaching those goals are just a tiny part of the process, just a teeny part of the reward that you get for going on this journey? Today, I want to talk to you about patience with our journeys. The goals and the milestones that we reach are very important. And they're definitely something to be celebrated and excited about reaching. But the journey along the way and how we get there is where all the meaning and depth lies. Let's say you want to walk across an island. Many years ago, I ran this group totally free for a group of friends around fitness and accountability. And at the time, I was living in Hawaii. So I used the analogy of an island. And so let's say you want to walk from one side of the island to the other side of the island. So the island I lived on was about 5 hours drive time. So let's say you wanted to walk it. This would take days. This would take a long time. The milestone is reaching the other side of the island. And that's exciting and it's great. And you want to celebrate it when you've reached it. However, there's so many amazing things that you'll get to do along the way. And it's living into the different experiences, the different, let's say, restaurants or scenes or selfie opportunities or animals that you're going to see or people you're going to meet. The depth and the meaning lies there in the journey, in what you're doing along the way. And the more patient we are along the way, and the more we actually take the time to appreciate the process and every step along the way, the less likely we are to give up. And I'm telling you this as a person with experience, not being very patient. I have not had patience a lot of my life, and it's something I've constantly had to work on and unpack new layers and new layers and new layers under that. I remember one time I was particularly frustrated. Again, this was many, many years ago, and I was at a stoplight and just sitting in my car and I was so frustrated. And I don't even remember what I was frustrated about, but it felt very real and important at the time. And I just remember being like, oh, just give me patience. Just give it to me. Just somebody give me patience. And then the red light stayed red for about 10 minutes. I don't know if it was a glitch or what happened. But there's a funny thing that happens when we set a goal or we set an intention, we're tested in certain ways. And so when you set a goal, like, I want to be more patient, I want to practice enjoying the journey, there can sometimes feel like things come up that get in our way. And I really think what's happening here is that we're noticing it because our attention goes to where our intention is, right? And so we think about the patients and we notice more of the things that are bothering us and we notice more of those details that feel like they're holding us back. But this is an amazing opportunity because this is our opportunity to grow and learn from it. Someone once told me years ago, you have no patience and you never will have patience. And I believed it. I really took that in to be the truth. And so I lived it. I was like, yeah, I'm not patient. And that's how it's going to be, right? I can't wait for these things. I'm going to be more demanding, more insisting. I'm going to push harder for what I want. But as the years passed, and as I did this deep work on myself, on my own emotional regulation and self soothing, I learned how I could control myself better and stay in control of my emotions, stay in charge, sit and stay in that driver's seat. I started to wonder, maybe, just maybe, patience is something I can learn. And so I texted a mentor of mine and I asked the question, can you get better at patience? Is this something you can learn? Is this a skill you can practice and harness? And her immediate answer was yes. And we got on the phone and we talked about how that same self soothing journey and that same emotional regulation journey of being patient with yourself and slowing down in the moment. So it's how we cultivate patience. So let's say something doesn't go your way. Say there's a big project going on, or you're responsible for something that's not going well, or it's not going the way you wanted it to go. You want to react. You want to tell people what they're doing wrong. You want to fix it immediately. We want to jump in and find a solution. But what if you slow down, step back, breathe, get all that good oxygen into the body, and you find a solution or your next step that you can take? You don't always have to have the long-term solution, but what you can do is focus on what's in your control and the very next step you can take. Without that, worrying and fretting and getting upset or, spewing your emotions on anybody else will never, ever help you. It will only make the situation worse. The people that you're working with, if they're being yelled at or they're feeling less than because they feel like they're messing up, they're going to cower away. Their logical brain is going to shut off and they're not going to be thinking from a clear and creative space in order to even help you solve that problem. And neither will you. So, really making sure that not only yourself, you are in a good place, but so are the people around you, because that is going to create a conducive environment where everybody is on board, everybody's willing to do what it takes. So, let's go back to the island analogy. You're going across the island, and let's say there's a mountain because Hawaii has mountains, and you have to go around the mountain, or let's say there's a traffic jam and you can't cross the street, or there's an accident, or you run into any of the million obstacles you could find. You don't say, oh, darn, I guess I can't cross the island now. No, you just find a way around. You go around, you go through, you wait it out. If it's something you can't go around, you wait for it to pass. There's always a next step that you can do, find, or take without stressing yourself, worrying yourself, and working yourself up for no reason. Here's one of the things I learned from emotional regulation practices is that when we focus on just the problem for the sake of just looking at the problem, it gets worse, or it feels like it gets worse because you're almost further dysregulating yourself. And if there's people around, you're likely to dysregulate them as well. Being able to be patient with the process and appreciate the journey, this is a huge part of our development, both personally and professionally. Because if we can learn to manage ourselves and stay in control of our thoughts and our emotions and our actions and our results, we can manage anything in life or in business. Also, having a strong and solid why that we are crystal clear on of why are we wanting to reach the goal? Why is that difficult journey along the way important? It's so much easier to stick it out. It's so much more manageable because you always have that in the back of your mind. This is why. This is why it's worth it. I'm willing. I'm making the choice to do this thing here and now in order to reach my longer term goal over here. This makes it so much easier to stick it out, stay with the process. The more we can get comfortable with being uncomfortable and those emotions that aren't necessarily our favorite or that are intuitive to survival, the more easy it is to go further, to get to where you want to go. Let's get more specific. So, let's say you want to write a book. I'm going to use this example because I'm currently writing a book. Having a bigger goal and working toward it can bring up a lot of uncomfortable emotions for us. So, when you look at writing a book, there's not wanting to do the work, the actual work, sitting down in silence with yourself, your mind, and actually writing, organizing your content, getting everything together so that you are organized can feel difficult to do. And that can bring up resistance. It can bring up different emotions. Or if you're not getting the results that you want right away, that can bring up a lot of frustration and you may want to give up or throw in the towel. Maybe you have to rewrite or restructure. Hi, I've done that. I wrote an entire book and had to take a hacksaw to it. And I realized and got very clear with myself on what I wanted to share in that and what I didn't. And I basically wrote 70 pages of a new book, thinking that would be my second book. And that has been merged in with what I have left from my first book. And I'm rewriting that with the goal of finishing that this year and being done once and for all. I'm more confident than ever now that I'm really clear on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what's going to be involved. And that is why I'm following my path. And I just finished organizing all of the content in the book itself for the new outline. And I'm so excited. And that is how you're going to feel when you hit the milestones. But then you have to continue to enjoy the journey along the way. And that's why being patient with the journey, being committed to why you're doing it, your big picture goal. For me, it's I want to get this book out. I want to write my story. I want to share the wisdom and lessons that I have learned with the world, with whoever wants to read it. So that is what keeps me going. And I want you to have a clear why for yourself on how to move forward. And this could be for one project, one goal, one small thing. And it could also be for your whole life. What is your why in continuing on with life? Life is hard. We're human. There's a lot of emotions to feel. We have a lot of crazy thoughts going on in our brain. What is your why to keep going? Keep that in mind. Keep focused on that. Stay centered with yourself. And I want you to know you are never behind. Listen to me. You are never behind. Don't let anybody anywhere else on any part of their journey, no matter what they're saying, make you feel like you are not on the right path or not at the right place in your journey. If you want to go faster, make a plan to go faster, but do not use that as an excuse to make yourself feel bad because you are in charge. This is your journey. We said it in the intro episode. We look in the mirror to realize I'm here because of me and my choices and my decisions. And I can get over there or over there or over there, wherever I want to go, because of my own choices, my own decisions, my own actions. And that comes from being able to manage ourselves because we go further from a regulated state and a state of soothing ourselves. You own your journey at the end of the day. You are in charge. You got in that driver's seat. You took the steering wheel. And now it's time to take the journey and enjoy it. And if you experience a setback, remember when we were on the island, crossing from one side to the other, if we come across a boulder or a traffic jam, we can learn from this. We can find a new skill, a new way to go around it. And by the way, manage our emotions along the way because every opportunity, every obstacle, every challenge, every setback that we face is an opportunity to level up, to get better, to get to that next moment. Because if we didn't manage our emotions and learn from it and just ran back to the other side of the island where we started, we would never learn. We would never know how to get through or handle any of those situations. We'd never have the skill. But once you get to the other side of the island, my friends, you'll be so glad you did it because you committed to the journey. You learned along the way, and then you reached your milestone. But guess what? You reach it, and then you set a new goal. So it's never done. That's why the importance is not on the goal itself. And some goals you might not even reach because maybe something else comes up, or you pivot, or you go in another direction. What matters is what happens in the journey and what you're leaning into, what you're living into, and how you're showing up every day in your life. It is not the end goal, the check mark that fulfills you. Nobody lies on their deathbed at the end of their life thinking, why didn't I check that box? Why didn't I get that trophy? Why didn't I get that end result? They think about the journey they missed out on. They think about the connections, the conversation, the presence. How many times have you laid awake at night feeling guilty that you weren't present with somebody, that you maybe missed a moment? I can tell you, I have done this. So get clear on your vision. Get clear on what it is that you want, where you want to go. Commit to doing what it takes to get there, to being uncomfortable and learning from it. Commit to yourself. Don't even do it for anyone else. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anyone else in your life. Do it for you. Do this one thing for yourself, because if you can manage your emotions and how you feel and that discomfort that comes up as you push yourself and challenge yourself to reach certain goals, you can manage anything. I promise you. That is a fact. Now I want to hear from you. What's been challenging you? What's been getting in your way? Let me know. Send me a message. Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, why is it so hard to be patient with the journey? Why is that so difficult? What are the things that are catching us and stopping us from going further on the journey? And why is that journey so important to you so that you can achieve all of your dreams? Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world, and as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.